What's going on? Welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to talk to you about SoFi. I want to go over some of the data points, what moved it, and go over everything else you need to know. But first, make sure to hit that thumbs up. And with that, let's get right to it. So SoFi went down 0.98%, 25.12 the high, 24.05 the low. So first thing, you did have some FOMO, some institutions buying, caused it to go up about 2.1%. Regrettably, the broader market did kind of take hold and really dragged SoFi down and kind of kept it down throughout the whole day. In all fairness though, SoFi did a lot better than a lot of other fintechs. I'm sure some of that had to do with tomorrow being their very big day, their earnings. So I'll kind of give you a quick summary of that in this video. But aside from that, we did have one data point that came out, and that was initial jobless claims. Came in at 209, forecasted 205, so a little bit hotter, but that didn't really move the market all that much. So today, the market was digesting several things. So one of which was Powell. So the market, always the following day after he kind of says some doom and gloom stuff, the market digests it and I think really starts to price it in. So that was one thing. You also had a lot of chatter about AI bubble, blah, 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 all over the place. And that was largely prompted because of Microsoft's earnings. So despite them actually hitting their top and bottom line, what they gave for future guidance, that was absolutely critiqued like crazy. And I think that is also an indication of what might happen with SoFi tomorrow as well, on how the market's going to be very much paying attention to the future guidance. So right now, 11 cents is the earnings per share, 982.39 million for the revenue. And then for the earnings per share revisions over the last 90 days, 16 positive and 0 negative. But again, outside of the key metrics, it's going to be future guidance. And hopefully SoFi doesn't come in very conservative, and because right now there's a hell of a lot of things happening, right? So you have pretty much the Fed's kind of not in any rush whatsoever to cut rates. You have potentially a new Fed chair coming in. You have another government shutdown potentially looming as well this week. You have a lot of grayness in the broader market. So it'll be very difficult for SoFi to give concrete future guidance. And so I think in reality, they might play it a little bit safer and just raise it maybe in, let's say, Q1 earnings potentially. But nonetheless, future guidance is going to be a very big deal for SoFi. Aside from all of that fun stuff, there was one thing that was posted on today by SoFi Insider, and that was this right here. So it does look like JPM did buy $245 million worth of SoFi mortgage loans. And very interesting timing. So this came out to January 28th, 2026, which in reality probably was actually done like a week or two ago. And it might coincide with this right here. So we did get on the 21st a 13G showing that JPM now has 64.9 million shares. So coincidence? I'd probably consider no. So in general, very interesting stuff is always happening behind the scenes. So shout out to SoFi Insider. Aside from that though, there really hasn't been anything for news, no speculative things being posted online. So now everyone's just kind of holding their breath for SoFi's earnings. Shorts did return 359,000 shares. 9.2% of the free float is being shorted, works out to be 114.31 million shares overall are being shorted. So going into SoFi's earnings, we actually don't see any signs of sketchiness. So no naked shorting. So there is more on loan than being shorted. Plus you have cost to borrow minimum being normal. So that's kind of interesting. I don't know if that's a potential sign or anything, but going into SoFi's earnings, no signs of manipulation, of course. Aside from that, though, 40 million in calls, 27 million in puts. 48% of all the options being done were bearish in nature, and most of that was in the last about 2 hours of the trading day. So a lot of institutions were placing their last minute bets going into SoFi's earnings. Currently, based on the options, the implied move is 6.68%, so that's roughly $1.60 in either direction. That is kind of anticipated. From a bull standpoint, you see a consensus for it to be roughly around 26.50 to 27, so optimism has gone down a little bit. Bears are anticipating for it to be sub like 23 to 24. So definitely based on that, there is a little bit more upside than down. As well, tomorrow, with it being a Friday, just take a note of this. So this is all the open interest. So for those of you that believe SoFi is going to be at above 30, for instance, I see a lot of people kind of posting about that. You have 26 at the 30. 6,000 in open interest at the 29.50, 22,000 at the 29, 14,000 at the 28.50, 25 at the 28, and so forth and so forth. You don't need me to kind of read through all this, but nonetheless, if SoFi, I'd say, closes 28.50 and above, you could see a nice little gamma squeeze going into next week. Aside from that, these are all the transactions that did occur on the secondary market. So you see a lot of transactions occurring after hours. So SoFi is kind of moving up a little bit because of that. So a lot of institutions are buying, so definitely good to see. So 63.1 million, 9.1, 7.3, 5.4. So a lot of big money really getting in. So definitely that's a good thing. And plus you also had some transactions that did occur early this morning. So that's one also thing why SoFi kind of moved higher because of that. These are all the transactions that did occur on the dark pool above $100,000. So 13 million was the largest, 12.3, 12.1, and a lot of 12 million ones, a lot of duplicates. So clearly that was hedge funds being and doing what they do. Aside from that, with it at 24.36, not counting the after hours, it is trading between this S2 and this S3. So it's been really hit quite significantly lately, but 24.19 and 24.84 is going to be the next strong support and target. So kind of just watch for this. And again, going back over here, the implied move is $1.60 in either direction. Aside from all of that fun stuff, as I've been very much saying for a while now, based on the chart, it doesn't look good. And actually, what's rather interesting is I actually saw a couple comments saying that I'm giving false hope and I'm pumping SoFi, which is absolutely crazy if you think about it, because I go over different scenarios, what could really impact the stock price, good, bad, and the ugly. But lately I've been saying that the only thing positive about this chart is that stochastic RSI is very oversold. This does show some signs of consolidation. So I don't know, if you think I'm pumping, my apologies. I don't mean to do that by any means. But aside from that, looking at the market position, you don't see that much willing buyers at all. So it's all going to come down to tomorrow's earnings. If we retest that 23.50 or potentially get above that 10-day moving average. Given today's price action, it is fair to assume that it'd be rather difficult. Like SoFi would have to have a full-on triple beat to hit that 50-day moving average, but it's been possible. We've seen it happen time and time again, but tomorrow is going to be a lot of volatility, moral of the story. There hasn't been any new analyst ratings, which is rather odd because normally we get one or two at least this week, and we got none. So today, or this whole week, was rather odd, but anticipate a whole new rush of analyst ratings. And plus, on a side note, with SoFi's earnings on a Friday, which is abnormal, a lot of analysts, sometimes when they post their ratings, TipRanks doesn't actually post it until the following kind of day. So that means maybe Monday we'll get like a rush, massive amount of them. So we'll just have to wait and see. But let me know your thoughts on SoFi. Give yourself a shout out if you've been buying, selling, holding, or if you've been kind of dabbling with options. Give yourself a shout out. One final thing, pop over to my Patreon if you're looking for some solid buy signals on stocks, options, crypto. Put out daily day trades, numerous swing trades. Worthwhile to pop over there and check that out. With all that, appreciate all of you watching.